documents. But we don't have to use a military coup. All we have to do is claim our birthright, and that put us in control of all government, military, political, and economic events taking place on the land. Right? So we need to be able to call the three chiefs. What is their purpose? Right? So they had to form clans. We have to form clans. We have to reform the family across common bonds. They called it we was ganging. We was gang banging. Gang mean clan. So we was formulating clans. They was infiltrating the clans. And they was starting the wars between two clans who was formerly at peace. Right? So, like for instance, I'm gonna give you an example. This is well known in California after the Rodney King riots in '91. And the Bloods and Crips had something that they called the truth, where they tied their rags together, and the OGs said, we're going to stop killing each other, and we're going to focus on this government. Within a week, they started having drive-bys while you got Bloods visiting Crips. You got some strange Bloods trying to shoot up a Crip neighborhood. The Bloods telling them ain't us. They calling our set out, but we all here. So they end up shooting the cars up, find out they undercover police and FBI agents. So they've been turning us against each other the whole time, and we didn't even know it. And the motherfuckers behind it look like us. And we didn't even know it. That's when my feelings got hurt the worst out of all of this shit that we've been through. And when I found out that the white man ain't white, and the people behind the dirt is dirty Moors, and they lying to the good Moors, but the good Moors is doing their off around. No man couldn't feel that black man's pain. Okay, so now I'm about to go into my posts from today and kind of like touch on a couple of things. Today, a shyster was trying to get me to send him $700 for a $70,000 payout. He wanted me to send him $700 for a $7,000 payout. That gets my attention because the sevens is my number. What do this mean? So now I got to figure out what it means. So while I'm going through here, getting ready to pull my page up, and show y'all a couple of things. So that's not what I'm looking for. That's another what I'm looking for. So now I got to go through all this, and I got to tie a couple of things in order. Finally, I get to reveal Isis, right? The Queen of Heaven and Earth as God. The Pope being on their seat. Now, there's one thing left. I got to restore the Caliphate. In Islam, I have to restore the Caliphate. That's going to be a task. Because the Quran that they have is not the Quran that was left to them. And when the patriarchs took over the Vatican and they destroyed all of the Hafiz, they killed all the Hafiz and burnt all of the legitimate copies of the Quran they could find except for the one they kept for archive in the Vatican. They replaced it with a book out of Rome and even the legends surrounding that after Muhammad, when they tried to destroy what they called the Ahlul Bayt, the family of the house. Now, what y'all not paying attention to is Muhammad had no wealth until he married Khadijah. She had joined the monastery of the Catholic Church and had gave her wealth to the church, but the church wanted to control Islam,
So they gave her her wealth back and told her to go marry Muhammad. That's matriarchal. So Khadijah was the Black Madonna that the Pope supplanted. When he pushed her out of the Catholic Church in the Madonna seat, then Mother Khadijah was moved. Right? So in order for her to be protected, Muhammad commissioned what we know today under the tents of Qadar as the Sharif. They were supposed to be guardians of the righteous. Now, how can I get to all to understand who Khadijah is? Right? This is the mother of the faithful in Islam, is what she's called, the mother of the faithful. Now, y'all got to pay attention, because we have to put the Madonna back in her seat. Now, Isis is referred to as Mary because the term Mary means rebellious woman. So in Islam, what took place was this. When they got Khadijah to marry Muhammad, through the family of the house, her house, swore to guard and protect the family of the house, the holy blood, the queen seat, or the high priestess seat of heaven and earth, Mother Khadijah. Now, I have to tie this back. I have to tie this back to Maryam. I got to tie this back to Mariama. This is Mosque Mariama in Chicago. Fruit on deck. So this is Mosque Mariama in Chicago, because in Islam, Mary is called Mariama. Now, in a few minutes, I'm going to go to that, because Mother Khadijah of the Nation of Islam is Queen Mother Isis. She is to be restored as Caliphate, the mother of the righteous and the mother of the faithful. This is the return of the ancient ones. This is the restoration of the glory seat. Farrakhan, I told you, this is where you see her on her throne. Khadijah is the mother of the faithful. Look it up. All of them gave me the clues. Betsy Ross was her slave name. Who made the American flag? That was just the key. That was just the key. Because the flag story does not add up. It's an incongruency there. So that means that there's something else there. So her name was Betsy Ross as the cloak. That was the disguise to let me know how to find Isis, the queen of heaven and earth. Now we got another problem here. We got another problem. Because if she's over here, who the fuck is that over there? Now, everybody that already said Francis was the imposter. Now I told y'all it was some foul shit going on. Right? Now I showed y'all already. Everybody know what's going on. This is not haphazard. So, in the quest to restore balance back to earth, under the orders of Mott, by the evidence provided by the CASHAPP, Mother Khadijah is the Queen Isis, the mother, the queen of heaven and earth. I am the widow's son. I am crown prince of heaven and earth. Now, I'm going to walk you through some signs. I am the self-raised master, the master of masters. And everything I have shown you has proven this. But there's one thing that you got to understand. Because if you don't know who God is, you're about to find out. The black stone, I told you what it was. Now we're finna show you what it is. Now, remember when we went yesterday, we went over the 5% information. And I showed you the Melanica, the Palace of the Rising Sun. We went over the Vesica Pisces. And the Vesica Pisces being the identifier, right? The Vesica Pisces being the identifier. So now, when we go up and we look at the Kaaba, now remember, it's a circle and a square, right? The builders built the box to house the mother, Alat. I'm about to lay it out for y'all now. Because if y'all sitting here thinking God is a man, are you insane? God cannot be a man. The Black Madonna returns. Francis, you gotta go. I'm finna show my people. I got everybody tied together in this. Everybody tied together in this. So let's go. We finna go do. This is the Kaaba. This is the Kaaba of Mecca. Right here. Right? Now, look. This is white. This is black. This is gold. Got it? White, black, and gold. So those are colors. Right? Now, you can't see the black stone on there. But this is the black box. This is Pandora's box. Now, I had to get a replica. Now remember, I opened that earlier and told y'all about Pandora's box. Now, in my post, I identified the three kings. Malik Shabazz. Right? Malik means king in Arabic. But it also means angel. That was supposed to be Wallace Muhammad, but he got cold feet. He got cold feet. So Elijah had to call Malcolm down there to be the scapegoat. He had to run the red herring in order to protect the throne. In order to protect the throne of heaven. Right? So now, in order to protect the throne of heaven, a lot of people made a lot of sacrifices. But this was Pandora's box. This was the black box. So this was the Kaaba I had to open, Pandora's box. So now, the story of Pandora opening her box, she couldn't close it once it was open. I bust these motherfuckers in they shit. Once it was open, you can't close it. Now, let's go. They said that the black stone is the stone the builder rejected, the chief cornerstone. Now, everybody was looking for a man. Now, I want y'all to look careful. Any woman can tell me this is not a vulva. This is not a vagina. Is this a vagina? Do I got anybody that say this is not a vagina? Now we looking at the black dot as Dr. Richard King identified the black dot. Right? But look, remember, because you got to get Baphomet out of there. I'm not making this shit up. I didn't post none of this. You see him in there, right? You see him in there. The perfected man. I am him. You can't hide shit from me. I'm gonna find it. Until to who revealed? The son of perdition? What you say? Is he in there? Is he in there? You goddamn rapist, come up out of there. What you doing in? Is he in there? But we trying to get the imposter out. We're trying to get the imposter out. See him up in there? I'm not bullshitting. They told me where the devil was at. Right? Waiting to devour the sun. You see that dragon? Identify him. That's the portal of life. It's all symbolism, but it's to teach a spiritual lesson. But you can see, when the wisest man in the world come, everybody else got to figure this shit out. I'm going to show you where to find it. I'm going to show you where to find it as I find it. Where is he? That's the uterus. The Baphomet is a uterus, remember? You can't make this shit up. This is real life. So now that we didn't reveal who the beast was, where the beast was hiding at, it's the Pope. It's the papal bull. Remember? Osiris had to slay the bull. What did he have to slay him with? Right? He had to slay him with the arrow. I am the golden arrow in native culture. I'm from the silver bow. I'm showing y'all this. Look. You can't hide nothing from me. I'm going to find it every time. Now, this is for the PhD. So now, I still got to show you the one like unto the Son of Man. Now, if I'm the Son of Man, there got to be some similitude. Something got to be similar in physical appearance, and he got to have on a... So now, this is leading me down the trail. At the end of this video, I got to be able to produce the sound of the A tone being correctly intonated, and it got to match all of the signs at the end of this presentation. I got to walk you from what Farrakhan said, that when you hear the A tone, you will be at one. You're going to hear the right sound from the one God. Look, before you know who God is, you got to know who the devil is. They write it in Egypt, man know thyself. Right? Man know thyself. Look, I'm showing it to you. I'm showing it to you in real time. As I pull it up, I'm showing it to you. Now, let's go. I done tied all of the nations together. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Hold on. I don't want to go this route. Okay, look. Now this is on my bed. This is I didn't even realize this was the family crest. This is the blood ties. Now let me show you what it looked like for real. Over here. Now, I went over what everything was. Except the backdrop. This is the two bears. This is my son and my daughter. This is Michaela. And this is Jeremy. This is my clan totem tribe. This is the direct positioning of the tattoos for the blood right. Right here. But this is her. So now, remember I have to show y'all Sophia, because wisdom, Ein Sof, is what I got to produce. Ein Sof. Now, look at here. This is Sophia. This is the wise woman. This is the wisdom that Solomon sought so dearly. This is the wise woman. Right here. The one that established the blood right. See, this is the blade. Look, this is showing you the connection to the gods and earths. This is showing you the connection. I went over all that already. These are things that I picked up in my travels impulsively. None of this was playing. Look, the young maiden. The young maiden. Now, my mother, Scotta, my Irish right, the redhead princess. I told y'all, my mama is the redhead princess. And y'all think I'm playing. And when she got older, her hair began to fade, it became gray. My mama hair began to gray as she got older. Right? She was the one. This is why you don't see a wine glass up here, because she is the Holy Grail. She is the one who carried the holy seed. This was Scotta. So now this is my mother right here. This is the Vice Lord. See, because you need the two women to confirm him. Needed the two women to confirm him. But out of the father's line, he had to be able to draw King Arthur's sword. My father's name is Arthur. Remember that. Right? But the struggle with the self, the bondages of the 7 chakras being bound by the curse that broke up the family. So then the chain broke on its own. On its own. Right? Accept that. But in the course of my journey, you know, I had to acquire, because it say in there that I would get the key of life. Endure to the end, and I would receive the key of life. I put the whole family back together. Keep the game. Now, I had this takes me to Putin in Russia, because I had to conquer Thor. And this is my Norse connection for the Norse tribes. My Vikings, that the Moors were the navigators for, that concealed the secret. Jacques de Monnet, that died at the hands of the French, which tied me to Adolf Hitler, who had legitimate grievances against the French when he was attacked But still, I had to be the black stone. The stone that the builder rejected has to be the chief cornerstone. So I collected that in Chicago. That's Jeff Ford gave me that. Let my people go. Right? I just showed y'all all of the rest of the stuff. Now I got to show you the man with the 7 candlesticks and the 7 stars in his hand, with the gown to his waist, and he's packed in gold, and he's like unto the Son of Man. And this would be this, because I'm in search of the A-tone. That's my clue. This was my clue where to find the A-tone. I had to find the A-tone to bring us all together. Right? The black ones and the white ones. The Hispanic ones and the Asian ones. The tall ones and the short ones. The fat ones and the skinny ones. The smart ones and the dumb ones. The healthy ones and the sick ones. The strong ones and the weak ones. I had to go through all this. I had to put it all on the line. Right? So this is your revelation of Jesus Christ. This is what God gave unto him to show and signify to his faithful servant, me. God wants us to restore family structure. This is what the science is telling me. I still got some receipts to do, because remember, as above, so below. I have to prove to y'all with the receipts of the day that I did everything I said I was going to do. I did everything according to the rules given to me across all disciplines, not just one. So now I have to write the receipt. Right? Now my day started out with a con artist attempting to con me. Okay? Which resulted in a receipt on what you call a 50-50 transfer. Right? Tupac took care of the 40-40 transfer. His seat is seat 40. Mine seat 50. Right? So now, that's Malachi Z. York. That's Malachi Z. York. He brought me the A-tone. And the A-tone is in this right here. This song, which this tape is non-functional at the moment because I don't have a working cassette player. But never fear. As a true general, there's always a way to win the battle. Thanks to my sisters out there, because y'all stand up soldiers. Now, this right here is the final piece to the puzzle, because remember, Farrakhan said, the one that came to y'all and sounded off the A tone is when all of us will finally have one person that will make everybody the same. No big eyes, no little U's. This is what they talking about. This is what the struggle was all about. So it all got to be explained in the end. Right? God, once I got it there to the highest heights of wisdom and met God, God said make a family. God didn't say make a black family, a white family, a Hispanic family. God said make a family. I have to teach y'all how to build families and build them again, just like I had to build this family crest that I did not realize was a family crest until I realized it was a family crest, so to speak. And so there will be no breaking of the blood, right? My mama told me to leave that intact. So that ties all of us together. Putin, stand up. Moscow, y'all can let them know now. It's all here. Now, what you call esoteric, mostly hermetic doctrine of information, because hermetics primarily deal with genetics. In the genome is like a long radio station or radio receiver. Like you got a whole bunch of channels. Right? But in order to get to the channel you want, you have to know how to
align the DNA. The alignment comes in through aligning it with a zodiacal constellation. So this is the origin of the zodiac. The women figured out a long time ago before they made men that if a woman or a man, back then it was just a masculine energy or feminine energy came in at a certain time based on the winter solstice, summer solstice, and the two equinoxes. You know when they coming in, and you know what energies you are channeling, right? So you hear him say that the prayers of the mother is answered through the womb. Well, what was your mama praying for when she was gestating you? Because she was programming your DNA. Because they told her she was praying for an outcome in life, they didn't tell her that when you have a child growing in you and you continuously pray or be in a high stated negative emotion, either way, which is ultimate calm or ultimate chaos, that's going to mold your child. Okay. This is part of the sciences that we teach the doulas about when they instructing the mothers to give them back this information that we talking about. So what the mother is doing by bloodline is they literally dialing in the sequence on the genome. And this is when you start getting, it's only so many facial structures. It's 7 specific or key or root facial structures. So it's 7 to the 7th power of 7, right? Which is a 777 genome materialization, which means that each one of them 7s have 7 options to the 7th power of expression, right? So now if people are constantly being born, dying, you recycling or opening up frequency stations. The frequency stations is calibrated from a star system and a specific point in the sky at a specific time of the year. So you bring in somebody under the zodiacal sign of Cancer, born under this bloodline, O positive, O negative, coming from this geography, the Americas, right? Born in this metropolis, Chicago, right? On this day, 10th of November, you dialing in and tuning in the child. And the genome is matching it up like a radio station matches up a frequency. If it doesn't align, that frequency can't express itself in the 3D world because you can't express yourself where you're not at. Right? So in the understanding of how genetics work, right? And like Seven brought up how his father's blind hair skipped him and went to his daughter. Right? That's called a heritable cross family flip from the fatherland to the next motherland. And his daughter's mother is okay in her daughter's DNA to receive the inheritance of the father. They call them daddy's girls. Blue house. Right? Mama's girls is red house. That means they straight direct descended down the motherland. They don't give a F about the fatherland's heritable rights over they mama's heritable rights. This is what we fighting these wars is being fought under those two pretenses. Gender heritability is the cause of all war on earth. And the people that's sending everybody to war is not telling them what bloodlines is fighting who. All this is relevant. Barack Obama is a clone of Akhenaten.
I heard that.
Right? Yeah. So the boys from Brazil, everybody thought that the Nazis was cloning Adolf Hitler. They wasn't cloning him. Go back and watch where the Thule Society sent the Nazi regime. And when you see where they sent them primarily 2 places, the Himalayas, led by Rubens, I think it was. And then they sent them into Egypt. Why? Those are the two oldest temple complexes. And so when they got the information, it gave them the genetic download information and the chemical formula to clone a human being that they wasn't supposed to have. And the first thing they thought that Tupac is Tut, so in order to stop him from ruling, we got to reincarnate his father so he can pull rank. But we got to program him where he only worked for us. An antichrist. One who's coming to seize the throne that doesn't belong to him from the rightful heir. Right? A usurper, a Jacobite. And then you get to where we at now.
I want to build in right on that because you know, I don't know what's going on here tonight. All I know is we all going. Okay. So check it out in the queue to Corrosion. You got all of these different characters, families, and sometimes you got to be the fly on the wall too, because a lot of these families were literally confronted with, as families even in Syria and everything right now are confronted with, are you with Assad? No, hell no, I ain't with Assad. But was walking the other day with Assad. You see what I mean? Meaning that it comes time for, you know, by threat of life, someone will say, hey, did you believe in this? That's why I say, so some Jews became, a lot of Jews became Christians when it's like, hey, was y'all with him? No, we ain't with him. But then, of course, also to remember that King James set up Jamestown, which was a colony, of course, inside the United States, but that also was infringing on Indian territory. And many of those Indians was why your grandma used to say, hey, some of those Indians don't like us either, because they already knew what was also going on in the end of the dynasty. And that's one of the things that I believe that we all have to make sure that we remember is that when you're seeing something at the end, something, life existence always runs this cycle. It's got to plan to take everybody through the whole process to see how you endure. So if you're only judging things based on the end, you know, that's going to be a little one-sided. It's like not really looking at something when it's new and when it's fresh.
It's an excellent point. It's an excellent point.
Yeah. Yes, and then we've learned a lot is what I'm saying.
Well, with those pictures you showed, and you showed King James and the Pope, I got to ask y'all this. So, all right. I could ask 30 different scholars a question about you show King James about Jesus, right? I'll get 30 different answers. They all might have an aspect of truth to them. So there was a quote unquote debate that went viral with Billy Carson and Wes Huff. And one of the I didn't even get around to watching the whole thing, but one of the things that went viral was a discussion on Jesus and the crucifixion. So I want to ask y'all, in terms of the crucifixion and in terms of this mystical, this character we call Jesus, we keep hearing stories after stories, images after images. One image, he's black. One image, he looks like a white homosexual. Another image, he looks Middle Eastern. I mean, we see all types of images. We hear all types of different accounts and stories. 33 crucified saviors. I hear all types of different things. What is, according to your historical knowledge, what went down with this? What went down with this event, this crucifixion event that totally impacted how we live today? Because everybody talks about it constantly. Jesus' name is mentioned constantly. He's one of the most famous people. This name or this energy just completely dominates the globe. So according to what y'all have studied, and it could be different. That don't mean both of y'all are wrong. But according to what you have studied, what could you tell me about this? And I know people are going to say it's an allegory. Yeah, it could be an allegory. It could be an allegory, and something could have happened at the same time. What is your account of what went down with Jesus and this crucifixion story?
Rod, if I may, German families come from. If you remove that link, regardless of what happened and how you feel, you would be disconnected. That's just how it works. And so another thing to just add in to be finished, because we were talking about now these paths and these roles that when you come into these matrices, we have now completely discovered that even the tarot in itself is an addition to the original, what you would call original tarot, which is just the calendar or the wheel or the times and the cycles that it takes to move around the sun, and the energy in which comes into the planet during all those times, specifically 52 weeks in a year, right? But then when we have a 78 deck, which they added 26 more cards, You got 26 letters in the English language. I'm showing proof. I'm going to upload this tomorrow that they literally add a new program of characters, a devil, a Wheel of Fortune, a Hierophant, a fool, all these characters. Now, true, like I'm not saying like, yo, and this is where the evil is. I'm saying there's more characters in the game now. And so in many ways, when we take into those original numbers and those original roles, that's where we'll find our comfort because that's who we are. We're in that originality. So that's I just want to add that. I want to go with that today.
Got you. Excellent.
What's the name of the story that you asked us about?
That I asked you about?
Yeah, that we're talking about right now. What was the name of the story?
Just the Jesus and the crucifixion story. The whole
crucifixion story?
Yeah. Like what went down?
Do you know in Latin, crucifixion is crux and fiction. Or ficticio, right? Crux means the center or the key point of something.
Right.
Fiction means it's made up. Let that sink in for a second.
Gotcha.
Crux mean at the center of something. Fiction means something somebody made up. And if they make it up and they tell it as agreed, it's called a story. Right? So they telling you in the name of the story, the validation of its fictional status. They telling you it's false. Right? That's why I wanted to make sure I pointed out that this was a war against the great mother. So when he was reciting it, I wanted him to go over it, put a pin in it. So that would change the whole dynamic. If there was never a J created under King James, we wouldn't be calling him or her Jesus. Because in Greek, I-E-S-O-U-S, Isis, applying the rules of grammar and pronunciation, it says Isis. Right? So when you go to the historical narrative, you have something called the acts. What is an act? An act is a part of a play, right? And in a play, you have what's called the key characters. In this case, the key characters, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, are 4 different perspectives. They can't be looking at the same thing because they're not even given the same genealogy in the 2 books they give it of this person. That's because they're talking about 2 people. Because in the one book, they say the child was born and they called it named Emmanuel, meaning God with us. Why they stop calling him that? Where he go? So when you go to the words in red, you have what's called blatant contradiction of philosophical ideas. That means two people with 2 different messages is talking in the words in red.
Exactly. Exactly.
What do you mean, Rod? Go to Matthew 10:34. I come not to bring peace, but a sword. I come to set at a variant, mother against daughter, father against son. Right? Then a little later on, somebody's still talking about, I came to join the family together and bring love into the world and all that. That's not the same person.
Or
so
God
now,
confusion,
right?
And let us go down and confuse them.
Yep.
And it goes on and on and on like this.
So because ain't nobody study forensic profiling, psychological forensic analysis on their free time. I'm the only idiot that would decide to do that on my free time and get good at it. Right? So now we looking at a story, it's 2 people. That's this righteous person, but it's 2 people. And they got 2 different ways of dealing with it. One say, pray for your enemies and love thy enemy as thyself. The other one say, go sell off your garments, buy up swords and knives. We about to take these to war. Right? So you looking at 2 different characters, forensically speaking, because they're not telling you the same story or the same idea. But the concealment is put both of their words in red. Now, Emmanuel, meaning God with us, that's Heru, because it came from the coming forth by day. All of the epithets of Christ in the Bible are all of the epithets of my mother Isis in the coming forth by day.
Okay.
Right? And some of the epithets apply to Horus. Right? His goal is to go from Kefra to Aten, right? So he going from the rising to the highest peak. This is in the zodiac wheel, you using the tarot cards to walk what's called the fool's journey. It is a blueprint and a roadmap, a yellow brick road to the destination, which is the throne of the Great Mother. And along the way, you have to figure out how to make sure that they can't stop her from receiving her throne as her son. That's the Horus story. Right? Now they showing you the pictures in the church of who they stole the story from. But you don't see it because they don't put that on public display. They display it in the Pope's chambers, the Black Madonna and Child. Right? Original bloodline, firstborn of the earthborn, parthogenic son of the Great Mother. Her forever redeemer. These people that Seven Bomar was talking about in the families are called kinsmen redeemers or family redeemers. Right? And this is their job, is to find out their family's inheritance and who did it, where they at, and how you get it back. Now they know who's rightful heirs to the earth as the Madonna and Child, the mother and the son. The son is receiving rulership rights from the mother. He's not taking over. He's supporting her wisdom in the application of government. Right? So you go through this journey. All of these are steps, but they are concealed in the fool's journey, which is actually the flip side, is the hero's journey. And the journey is the journey back to self. Right? And all of the pantheon are family members that all of them is giving you the go ahead to sit on the throne. Now, if you look close in the center, you'll see Tawaret here. That's the Great Mother in the 13th zodiac seat. Right? And this is a replica of the Temple of Dendera. She's the one that's the hippopotamus with the alligator spine. The alligator spine means she stand up straight. That means she a straight up woman. She don't mince meat with what she's saying. She telling you what she telling you. She got a cleaver in her right hand. Right? She got a hippopotamus, the protective mother, in the mammary glands of a woman. That's Big Mama. Right? All of these are tied to the original zodiac, which comes from the totem systems of using totem animals to read energy in the environment.
Right.
So these zodiac animals came from the totem animals of the original tribes of the earth tribes, of which there's 12 daughters of Isis, meaning 12 feminine bloodlines of mitochondria. Right? And they all been interrupted by several different Y chromosome intercepts that produce birth defects that was did on purpose in laboratories in Sumer. Right? Now that they got the birth defect, the only remedy is the original blood, one drop doctrine. Because Enki wrote the genome, he knew what to write to clean it up in the splicing program. Right? So when they talking about the story's fictional aspect, it's religious. But when you talk about its actual aspect, it's metaphysical and it's science and it's a star map. And it don't got nothing to do with what you believe. It got everything to know with how well can you read the signs.
Powerful, powerful. You know, so you're talking about the zodiac, Rod, and Seven put up the picture of the temple of Dendera. You know, oh, man, as we say, this is a divine costume that we're wearing down here. Macabre, there's many names for the vessel.
Earth rover.
Earth rover, you know, we call it different names. In the spiritual community, a lot of us study sciences such as astrology, numerology, things like that, and you know, these sciences tell us certain things about who we are. But my question to y'all is, some of us are very old souls. Say, for example, Brother Rich, I might have existed before the sun, moon, and stars even was around. I might have been one of them souls that was around way before the sun, the moon, the stars, Saturn, scary ass Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, all that shit. I might have been around before all of that. Now, if I was around and souls like me were around before all of that, are we subjugated to the same rules of astrology as a soul who came around after these planetary bodies?